Hey, this is Stephanie with Apex Languages. It's time for grown-up grammar. Now, I am putting this out a day ahead of time. We've got a big snowstorm coming, and who knows if we'll have power tomorrow. So I figured I'd just get it out of the way, and you'll have that much longer to enjoy. So today we're going to talk about direct objects. Last week, I introduced the basic sentence structure of English. Subject, verb, and possibly an object or two. Previously, I've also talked about nouns and the 4 different jobs they can have. They can be a subject, a direct object, an indirect object, or the object of a preposition. We talked about the subject last week. The man eats the food. Okay, so that subject, the man, is causing the action to happen. Who or what causes things to change. Okay, and then object of preposition, we'll talk about that one in the future. The boy throws the ball at his father. So prepositions again, at, on, in, with, etc., of. And so prepositions always need to be followed by a noun. So that noun is called the object of a preposition. Today, though, we're going to start talking about the objects. We'll start with the direct object, and then next time I'll go into more detail about the indirect object and compare the two a bit. So, the direct object, what is it? In my previous slide, I had the sentence, the man eats the food. In that sentence, the man is the subject. But in this sentence, the food eats the man is now the direct object. As you can see, word order makes a huge difference in English. Sometimes it means the difference between life and death. We don't have the flexibility to switch nouns around like you do in some other more declined languages because where a word is really affects its meaning. Subjects are always in front of the verb, and they describe who or what is causing the action to happen. Direct objects, on the other hand, always come after the verb, and they describe who or what is affected or changed by the action. In short, it often answers the question, what? As in, he eats what? Food. He eats food. It eats what? Him. It eats him. It's important to point out again, like I did briefly last week, that not all verbs require or even want a direct object. Those are called intransitive verbs. This is another way that subjects are different from direct objects. With the exception of commands, do this, do that, all English sentences require a subject. 99.9% of the time, you need a subject. It is very common, on the other hand, to see a sentence without any sort of object. Verbs that require verbs are called transitive. You will see these terms in dictionaries, so pay attention, because that's important information to know when you're learning a new word. Now, some words, like eat, can be both transitive and intransitive. The man eats, period. Nothing more. You're fine. That's intransitive. No direct object required. But then you can also say the man eats the food, or the food eats the man. And now the verb is being used transitively. You've got options. Many other verbs, however, are less easygoing. For example, talk is intransitive. You can say I talk, but not I talk something or I talk hello. Sure, some language learners do that, but I hope that you know better by now. Instead, you're supposed to say I say something or I say hello, because say is a transitive verb. On the same token, you can't just say, I say, unless you're British, and then that means something completely different. Okay, so remember, I talk intransitive. Intransitive means no direct object, but transitive means yes, it's required to have a direct object. So one more thing. Last week we talked about the idea of a noun phrase. That is to say that sometimes a noun is just a noun, but a lot of times it has a lot of things attached to it. Articles, adjectives, different clauses, etc. And so you can have a subject that is you. You can have a direct object that's just English, or you can have the man, right? Article and noun together, the food, article and noun together, and those are noun phrases. Okay? Even though the is the first thing in that sentence, the noun is the most important part, the sort of the head of that group. And so we call it a noun phrase. So noun phrases can be short, they can be medium, or they can be super, super long. You study the English vocabulary that your teacher assigns each week in order to help you become a more confident, competent communicator. Okay? Believe it or not, all of the teal is, depending on how you read the sentence, a direct object. Okay, you is the subject, studies the verb, and the rest is one big noun phrase. I know it's a noun phrase because I can congeal it all down to you study it, right? That's what pronouns do. They take big noun phrases and simplify them. So again, that's a little review of what a noun phrase is. Keep in mind, direct objects can be small, but they can also be deceptively long. Short but sweet. How do you like that? Next time, like I said, we'll go more into depth about the indirect objects, and we'll revisit the direct object, we'll compare the two, but I'm going to leave you here for now. Please be safe, whatever the weather does, and thank you as always for watching my videos. Check out more at apexlanguages.com. Have a great day.